Welcome back everyone to my channel. I want to talk to you about something today and that I've talked about in the past. That I've said sugar is a toxic poison no matter what form it's in, okay? Sugar will destroy, when I say toxic poison, it is a toxic poison. It will destroy your body little by little. Before you know it, you'll be having your limbs chopped off, going blind, tons of effects on the body, being overweight, high blood pressure, having to go on medication because of the high blood pressure, and kidney failure. Now, I say that because I know that for a fact. I have a family member, as I speak right now, is being operated on for dialysis. This family member, when I found out about it, had 17% kidney function, and they lost a ton of weight. I didn't even recognize this family member anymore. When I seen pictures, it was unbelievable, and I kept, asking, why is this happening? What changed? When I knew this family member, when I seen this family member before, that family member was pretty heavy set, but not always this way. In the last 15, 20 years, they started putting on some weight. And it's because of the high insulin and high sugar in their diet. Well, high insulin and high sugar in their body because of their diet, which leads to high blood pressure. High insulin and high sugar, if you keep eating that way, you keep eating your breads, your pasta, your rice, your potatoes, sweet potatoes, no matter what it is, if it's a starchy vegetable or just starchy carbs or refined carb, you're gonna raise your insulin because your blood sugar is gonna skyrocket, and it's gonna wreak havoc on your body, and it's gonna raise your blood pressure, leading people to get their blood pressure medication. Which makes me think, I wonder why the food pyramid, at the bottom of the food pyramid, they tell you to eat all the grains, rice, pastas, all that stuff. They tell you to eat that mostly. Then at the very top, they tell you to stay away from oils and meat and stuff like that. Totally upside down, backwards, completely. Is it you think you're trying to make us sick and to be dependent on their medications? Anyways, this family member ate a high carb diet, and I remember this family member being very overweight at one point, and now this family member is 110 pounds and very thin, frail, and as I said, she's going on dialysis. I have a neighbor that also is diabetic, although this family member is not diabetic, but which led to this kidney failure because of the constant high blood pressure, because of the high sugar and insulin. This neighbor of mine also is, he is a diabetic. And what kills me is doctors don't explain nothing to their patients. At least there's a lot of doctors that don't explain nothing. Patients are just numbers. Next. I asked my neighbor, are you type 1 or type 2? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You go to the doctor all the time, and he has to take insulin. But a lot of type 2 diabetics take insulin also to raise their insulin to get the sugar, as much sugar out of their blood as possible. But anyways, this neighbor of mine also has the lower part of his leg amputated. And extremely overweight, and his other leg, the good, so-called good leg, is swelled up like a balloon, and he has to have it wrapped all the time to keep it, I guess, the skin from splitting. I mean, that's what it looks like. I'm not kidding you. And I've been telling him for years, you got to change your diet. You got to change your diet. Stay away from the starchy carbs and starchy things, pastas and stuff, rice and all that stuff. Stick with meat and vegetables, period. I've been telling him that for years. Nope. So, and I've said this in another video too, when a person's that way, you can only do so much. If a person doesn't want to change, I mean, there's not much you can do. At least tell them what they have to do, and if they don't want to change, then, well, it's their problem, right? Their fault, actually. You, remember that you are in control of your health. And if you want to eat like crap, then you're going to suffer the consequences. I was on my way to a horrible, my health was horrible. Not only because of the inflammation that I was getting from all the vegetables that I was eating. Now, some people can handle vegetables. I can't. There's a lot of people that can't. Cause inflammation in my body. And as you can see from this picture here, I didn't look that good. Okay? Now, since then, I've lost 30 pounds, and I've gained roughly 10 to 12 pounds of muscle because I've been working out again. My joints, ligaments, tendons don't hurt anymore like they used to. And everything's healing wonderfully. It takes time, but I'm on the road to recovery as far as that's concerned. All my chronic issues vanish. My heart palpitations, my gout symptoms, like I said, the aches and pains in my joints, gone. Okay, and they're healing. It's amazing how the body will heal if you let it heal. But if we're constantly shoving, refined carbohydrates in our mouth, pastas and rice and potatoes and all the starchy vegetables, that stuff's going to kill us, and it's killing us slowly every day. I've said this many times. And you go shopping, how many people do you see? I see tons of people half my age. In fact, it just happened a few days ago. We went shopping. I was at Walmart and we were looking at coffee. I want to start drinking coffee again, but without sugar. And I'm looking for coffee, and the exact opposite side of me on the shelves behind me was the candy aisle. There was a guy in a electric wheelchair, basically. It was a nice one, actually, and he was almost laying down. His feet were propped up like this, swelled up like a balloon. This guy, huge face, and he smelled like urine. I mean, I don't want to make fun of the guy, but it was bad. Okay. And I was looking at the coffee, and then behind me was him in this wheelchair, laying back with his feet out and covered in blankets, trying to grab candy. And there was one on the lower shelf he couldn't grab. It was one of those orange, sugary, squishy candies. I don't even know what they're called. And he goes to me, "Sir, do you mind getting that bottom orange candy for me?" And I looked down there, and I grabbed it, and I gave it to him. I mean, I wish I didn't, but that's what he wanted. I felt like telling him, "Dude, wake up. Can't you see what you're doing to yourself? You're killing yourself." But obviously I can't do that. I don't even know the guy. And I felt horrible after that. I wish I wouldn't have given him that candy, but what am I going to do? That's what he wanted. But I see people like that, and they're destroying their health. Not only did he get that candy, but he also had with him like M&Ms and things like that. I don't know. It breaks my heart, and it gets me angry. And at the same time, you just want to slap these people and say, "Look, wake up. Can't you see what you're doing?" Oh, I don't know. You know, I thank God I'm the type that if something is not right and you feel it, like, okay, something's not right with my health, I got to look into this. I don't understand why more people are not that way. My neighbor's not that way. I'll talk to him about health and stuff, and he's like, it goes in one ear and out the other. He's not comprehending, or he doesn't want to understand. But some people, I don't know, they just don't get it. Like I said, when I feel like there's something off and nothing right with my health, I look into it and I try to change it. And after 18 years of suffering with this vegan diet that I was on, vegan vegetarian diet for 18 years, and during those years, I'm researching, I'm looking and stuff and trying to see what works for this and what works for this symptom. And a lot of it had to do with herbs and try this supplement or try this herb. And it wasn't about herbs and supplements so much, Those things are fine for quick, or maybe some Band-Aid, type things, but you have to get down to the core issue. And I remember this, like, this was back in May of 2024, I got down on my knees and I prayed. I said, Lord, if you're not going to heal me from this, at least show me what I need to do. That's my exact word. I prayed, I said, God, if you're not going to heal me, then please at least show me what I need to do to make my health better. And I'm not kidding you. That day or that next day, I'm doing research online on YouTube for the symptoms I was having and all that. And all these carnivore videos were popping up on my feed. And I've heard about carnivore, but I thought, you're going to get vitamin C deficiency. You're going to have this problem. You're going to have this deficiency. Because I was brainwashed by the mainstream media. But I started looking into it, and voila, man! I said, okay, I'm going to try this. I tried it, and my whole life changed. Everything. I understood how toxic these vegetables were. I'm not talking about toxins with chemicals so much, but if you're not getting organic, yes, you are getting chemicals. It's the natural toxins that are in plants. Okay, and there's a whole list of them. And anti-nutrients and stuff. And the oxalates that are in these plants that are wreaking havoc in your joints. And not to mention kidney stones. In fact, there was a guy, I don't remember this guy's name, but he was big on TV. He was an older guy, big on TV about smoothing, making smoothies and stuff. His thing was spinach smoothies all the time. Spinach, spinach, spinach. Do you know how high spinach is in oxalates? Oxalate crystals? Anyways, it happened, from what I understand, that he ended up being rushed to the hospital because of kidney stones. They were so bad, these kidney stones, that they had to surgically remove them. Couldn't pass them. Ooh, I can't even. I've passed kidney stones twice in my life, back in the early 90s. And I know how painful that is, and extremely painful. But I can't even imagine how painful it must have been for him to have them surgically removed. We've been fed a bunch of bull with these so-called healthy smoothies and vegetables. And in reality, they're not healthy at all. And I know this firsthand. Yeah, anyways. But going back to this family member, they didn't eat junk food. They ate a so-called healthy lifestyle, but it was mostly vegetables, meat, but there was a lot of refined, like flour, pastas and bread and pastries and starchy vegetables, and that wreaks havoc. Now, the worst thing you can do is when you're mixing when you're eating meat and refined carbohydrates. That's a no-no. You really shouldn't do that at all. The sugar, not only does it make your body acidic, but it destroys the lining of your arteries. And I've said this before, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I get new people watching all the time. It destroys the lining of your artery, and the cholesterol goes there to patch it up, you know, to heal it. And then when you stop damaging your arteries, it'll heal. So if you keep eating the sugary stuff and the starchy vegetables, you're going to keep damaging those arteries all the time. Eventually, you're going to get, your arteries are going to clog up. So I've been eating a pretty much strict carnivore diet, and I say pretty much because I include dairy too. What we do include, we do include some spices now. For instance, if I'm making like a burrito bowl, I'll put burrito spices in the ground beef or the minced meat. I'll put the seasoning in there and maybe a little sour cream on there. You know, just to spice things up a little bit. And yeah, so I've been doing that, and it's been working out okay for me. So I don't, you know, there's a lot of purists, carnivore purists out there that say that you have to be pure carnivore. You don't have to. In fact, if you want to be a ketovore, meaning your vegetable eat meat and a little bit of vegetables. And when I say vegetables, I don't mean potatoes and rice and things like that. I mean like green beans and maybe some olives, an avocado, half an avocado, things like that. Things that are what won't spike your blood sugar. That's very important. You do not want to spike your blood sugar. A little bit is fine. In fact, a little bit of spiking of the blood sugar is okay because it raises your insulin just a tiny bit. And insulin does a lot of other things in our body, other functions in our body that's important also, especially for sleep regulation. If you're the type that can't sleep at night, and I had this problem a little bit, it has something to do with the regulating your hunger hormone in your gut. But that's fine if you're going to eat meat and a little bit of vegetables. If the majority of your diet is vegetables and refined carbs and just a tiny bit of meat, you're not doing yourself any good at all. So anyways, guys, oh, and there was one more thing here. Dr. Thomas Seyfried, very famous guy, well respected. He talks about how a carnivore diet and fasting is one of the best ways, if you have cancer, is one of the best ways to start the healing process, getting rid of that cancer. I can't say it's going to cure it. Even he says it's not. It might not cure it, but it would really benefit you. If you have cancer, get on a carnivore diet and do some fasting too, because cancer feeds off of two things. It feeds off of sugar and L-glutamine, the amino acid L-glutamine. It can convert those two into glucose. Well, it can convert glutamine into glucose and use it for energy for the cancer cell. Cancer cells cannot use ketones. Ketones is something your body produces for our body to make energy out of, where cancer cells cannot. So you're starving the cancer by going carnivore in a high-fat carnivore diet. You're starving the cancer, and the cancer is going to look towards L-glutamine. He said there is a drug. It's called DON. It's the scientific name for it is 6-diazo-5-oxo-L-norlucine. That's a mouthful. But the problem with this drug is what this does is blocks L-glutamine, your body using L-glutamine, therefore starving the cancer. The problem with this drug is no one's allowed to use it unless it's for clinical trial only. So that's why he insists that if you have cancer, to go on a carnivore diet and fasting, basically. So yeah, that's how bad sugar is. It feeds the cancers too. Alright guys, I just wanted to make this as informative as possible and not drag it on too long, but you get the idea. Sugar is toxic poison. Now you know why, and get rid of it out of your diet. If you want to use a little stevia, for instance, coffee. Coffee is pretty bitter. If you want to use just a tiny bit of stevia just to get the bitterness off of it, that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to spike your blood sugar. So yeah, things like that. You know, you got to be kind of creative when you're trying to make your meals more exciting. But don't make your meals so exciting that's going to kill you and destroy your health with sugar. Okay guys, so thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.